Hi class, welcome to MBA 621. My name is Dr. Richards. Good to meet all of you, asynchronously at least. I'm glad you guys are all enrolled in the class. We actually have a really good amount of students this semester, so that's good. This course is offered face-to-face in the fall and then asynchronously in the spring and the summer. So this is it asynchronously. It's 8 weeks. As you can see from going on Blackboard, I've created eight folders. So the way that this classroom will be, or this class will be delivered, will be through modular types. And as you'll kind of see through the week one activities, through my approach, is that a lot of inhibitions about writing or feelings about writing stem from a lot of pressure and anxiety about needing to complete writing, needing to kind of interpret or kind of try to guess what the teacher is trying to expect from you. And because you've had so many different teachers, you've accumulated so much about what supposedly is good writing, right? And so this class kind of takes you away from that approach of what is good writing and what is bad writing. And this course is aptly called effective business writing. So what that means is we're going to move away from the kind of rules-based approach to writing, such as the comma should go here, or not to use I, or you can't begin a sentence with and, for example. Move away from that and towards understanding language as kind of a bit more contingent, a bit more situational. Not contingent in the sense of arbitrary, but contingent in the sense of what makes for effective writing depends on the context. So that's where rhetoric comes in, and that's why you have me, an English professor, teaching an MBA course, is because my PhD is in rhetoric and writing, and that's currently what I teach right now. I teach a lot of rhetoric courses, argumentation courses, writing courses, technical writing courses. And kind of underlying my teaching is the notion that has been widely researched that what constitutes good writing depends upon the situation. So it depends on who your audience is. It depends on your workplace. It depends on the culture that you're a part of. It depends on the timing of the document. It depends on the technology. So many factors go into what makes for quote unquote good writing that it's difficult to say this is what good writing is and this is what bad writing is. So this course is an attempt to move away from that again and move towards a notion of effective writing. So that's what we'll be focusing on this semester. So week one, you have 3 things that you need to do. One of them is complete a questionnaire. One of them is watch this video that you're watching right now. So congratulations. And the third part is you have to write what's called a memory piece. So I'll go in order describing each of those things. So the opening questionnaire, maybe took you guys off guard a bit. Maybe not. What it does is it asks you to explore some positive and negative associations you've had with writing. So scholars in business writing and in technical writing and just in writing studies generally acknowledge that poor writing skills often stem from a poor attitude about writing. So that attitude can come from just not acknowledging that it's important or from negative experiences you've had in the past. So I'll start with the first. So not acknowledging writing is important. I think for the reason why I love teaching this class is because a lot of you have had internships or workplace experience or currently have workplace experience where you already know the importance of writing. You already know that being an effective communicator helps you become more successful at whatever job you're in, regardless of what industry you're in. There is no industry that accepts subpar communication, right? That is kind of the standard for whatever industry you're in, whether you're in finance or you're in engineering or you're in accounting or whatever you're doing. Effective communication is equal across the boards. And you see employers, declare that that's the most important skill that they're looking for in an employee. Anyway, you can learn a technology on the ground. You can learn specific whatever it is on the ground. But they want employees who come as effective communicators because that's a bit difficult to teach on the job. So any of you who has workplace experience right now knows that effective communication not only helps you progress in your career, but it also just makes your life easier, to be quite frank. Other poor attitudes stem from just negative associations that you've had with writing in the past. So I recall myself, and maybe a few of you can as well, I'm assuming from different generations here, when I was growing up, despite the fact that I am an English faculty member, writing was a form of punishment. Maybe that's because I went to a more strict Catholic school, but maybe not. But if any of you have had this experience of, I remember one time I forgot to write my name on an assignment. This was third grade. I forgot to write my name on an assignment, and my punishment was to write my name, literally my full name, over and over again 100 times, right? Much like Bart Simpson writes on lines on the chalkboard in the opening sequence of every Simpsons episode. So writing lines is kind of, indoctrinates kids into this way of seeing writing as a form of punishment. And a lot of people up until high school and college age try to avoid writing in a lot of different ways. I've talked to a lot of either my friends or students now that are in undergrads or are undergraduates, and a lot of them will choose majors or disciplines because they don't have to write, right? And those on the other side do this as well, right? I chose my English curriculum because I want to avoid science, but a lot of them will choose because they want to avoid writing because they have negative associations with writing. So the questionnaire there is to kind of get you to self-reflect, to reflect back on the experiences that you've had with writing, because until we realize where your attitude towards writing is, and until you reflect why you have the perception you do about writing, it's going to be very difficult for you to move forward, because in 8 weeks, I can plant seeds, I can teach you tips and tricks, I can introduce you to the rhetorical situation, I can introduce you to rhetorical theory that's going to help you become a better, a more effective business writer. But ultimately, to improve writing over the course of your lifetime, you have to take a personal investment in it. And taking a personal investment in something means you're aware of where you stand with that specific topic. So we're kind of going to start backwards. We're going to start with kind of reflecting on where you're at, because I'm curious to see. And I'm going to integrate your questionnaire responses into the rollover into the next video. So it's not like you'll just fill out these questionnaires and they'll be out into space, right? So I'm going to be reading them, and then I'm going to be integrating them and kind of introducing. I'll give feedback in week 2, and I'll give all 12 of you guys, an update on kind of where most people's negative and positive associations are. So I want you to take that seriously, because, like I said, until you can really move forward as an effective communicator, you really need to explore the emotional aspect about it. And this isn't a counseling class, but if we were doing this face-to-face, we'd spend a good hour and a half kind of discussing our experiences and why we've come to view writing this way, not as an integral part of our lives, but as something we seek to avoid, or as something that a lot of people struggle at. Because on the surface, if 90% of employers check communication skills as one of the top criteria of an employee, then why are so many people struggling with writing, right? There's a disconnect there between what employers want and what the workplace requires, and what just living an effective life requires, and what currently exists in our education system. So why is that? Why do people avoid writing? And I think a lot of it has to do with fear. It has to do with anxiety. It has to do with some bad experiences. It also has a lot to do with grammar-based approaches to writing, which are just very boring and not a good way to learn language, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the opening questionnaire, and that's the rationale for why I asked you to answer the questions that I did. So you'll know, I'll talk more about this in week 2, but I use Google Drive a lot. And I hope you guys do too. But I'll kind of be integrating more and more Google Drive technology into the course, because it allows us to collaborate. It allows me just to revise your documents, or to kind of have conversations with you. And it also allows for very easy surveys and questionnaires like that as well. So just a heads up, if you wanted to kind of maybe poke around and see what Google Drive is about before, just to kind of get ahead of the game, that would be good. If you've already used it, great. If you are completely unaware with it, I'll still explain to you anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I just want to drop that in there. The second part is watching this video. So I will give not only some context about what the activities are, but also some useful strategies to how to complete the assignment. So these videos, I mean, there's really no way. I mean, I could test you on the videos, but it's a pass-fail course. If you care what I have to say, listen to the videos, and because I will give rationale for what the assignments you are doing. Otherwise, they're just orphaned, or they're just disconnected from the larger narrative of the class. So you can do the assignments, and you could just kind of treat this class like a complete documents to get a pass-fail. But my assumption is that most of you are enrolled in this class because you actually do genuinely want to improve your writing. So I'm working on that assumption. So I'm not going to force you to watch the videos. I'm not going to test you on it. I believe that you guys are graduate students now. If you guys want to improve your writing, I would encourage you to listen to the videos, because I'll give you some suggestions on how to complete the documents, and also I'll provide more of a personal take on rhetoric itself and on the rhetorical theories that I'm covering. Um, a note on the textbook as well. I said you guys can get 2 editions previous. I noted in the announcement a few weeks back that just this shouldn't come as a surprise to you, right? The business model of the publishing industry is one of pilfering students, in one of taking advantage of how textbooks are used. So I don't teach necessarily everything from the textbook. So when I say read chapter 1, I'll give you very specific, read these 2 or 3 pages, right? Or read this. Sometimes I'll assign full chapters, but I'm only covering about a third of the textbook, so I didn't want you guys to drop $120 on a textbook that I'm only going to use a third of. I think that's not fair. So the previous edition, the 5th edition, works just fine. It's perfect. It's great. Not a lot has changed since 2012, honestly. I mean, writing is writing is a discipline that's been around for 2 millennia. It's not going to change in 4 years. So make sure you get the 5th edition. It's about 15, 18 bucks, something like that, which I think is more reflective of how much of the textbook I'll be using, about $15 worth. The last part is your assignment. It's called a memory piece. What I mean by that is I'm not assigning too much expectations on this. I just want you to tell me a story of a memory that you have about writing. So that's outlined in Blackboard as well. This is intentionally open. My belief is from teaching writing all the way up from freshman in my life to a 700, 800 level course, teaching upper level PhD students in the English department, regardless of where they are on the writing spectrum. Having detailed assignment prompts and kind of leaving students to kind of decipher what I'm trying to expect from them leads to a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear, and kind of all this negative emotion kind of bubbles to the surface a bit. So it's a pass-fail course. So if you do the work, you're going to pass. Honestly, the only way you're going to fail this course is if you don't submit anything. So if you do the work, no stress. You're going to pass the course. So my goal here is to not give you a P or over an F, because if you do the work, you're going to get a pass. Rest assured. So what that does is that allows us some more breathable room to actually just have you guys write in a very low stress environment, because that's when writing works best. Sadly, that's not most of the situations we find ourselves writing, and usually it's in very high stress environments. But so we'll talk more about that as the weeks progress. So just tell me a story about a memory that you have about writing, so that there's more details on Blackboard there. And just write it like you would a story. Just kind of sit down. Don't stress if the paragraphs are too long, if the paragraphs are too short, if your spelling is off. I don't care for this assignment. Just write freely about a story, memories, a memory that you have about writing. So let me know if you have any questions about that assignment. But it's supposed to be an opening kind of pitch, slow and straight, right down the middle, just to kind of get you guys writing and producing documents. Because just starting the writing process is good, because most of the time writers spend is staring blankly at a screen, and what I'm trying to do is I want to kind of get you guys to avoid that and see value and just to start writing, and just to kind of move beyond your fear and inhibition, and just to start writing and engage with your writing and acknowledge that writing is imperfect and it's always going to be imperfect, and that's just the way it is. Even expert writers still struggle with writing. So writing is something we all struggle with. So there's no reason to be fearful or feelings of inadequate or shy in this course. So just write, tell me a story, and submit it through Blackboard. So let me know if you have any questions. That's it. The video is a bit longer than I wanted it to be. Sorry, but it's an introductory video. So let me know if you have any questions about the textbook. But again, 5th edition is fine. And the content will be posted week by week. So you'll see 8 folders there, but you can't just zoom through the class. That's not going to fly. So I'm going to upload the content kind of as it goes. But yeah, it's a pass-fail class. We'll be doing some smaller documents, and then kind of thinking about writing situations that you find yourselves in and stuff like that. Maybe we could do some group work if time allows near the end, or if I'm seeing that there's potential for that, because I don't know really what you guys are like yet. So yeah, like I said, email me if you have any questions, and I hope this clarified a lot of things for you.